Hello and welcome to Analytical Rules of the Road. In this short presentation, I'm going to share with you some tips, some tactics, and some procedures that you can apply to your next analytic investigation or inquiry, beginning with Sun Tzu and the Art of War. Sun Tzu said, "If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the results of 100 battles. But if you know yourself, but not the enemy, for every victory you will suffer defeat." And then finally, if you know neither yourself nor the enemy, you're a fool and will meet defeat in every battle. The corollary to Sun Tzu's Art of War can be applied to crime analysis. In crime analysis, if you know the criminal mind and your field, you will prevail. However, if you know your field yet not the criminal mind, for every success you will meet failure. And then finally, if you know neither your field or the criminal mind, you're foolish and will fail every time. So consider this. If you can find the answer to these questions, you will solve every case. Who did it? What happened? When did it happen? Where is the property, suspect, evidence? How was this possible, the crime-conducive conditions? And why did this crime occur? What is the motivation of the perpetrator? Here are 7 keys to success. I've broken them down into an acrostic. Prepare. The P stands for pay attention to detail. I'll elaborate on that in just a moment. The first R is for read everything. Don't assume or believe everything that you hear. If you read it for yourself, then you'll know. Also, by reading everything, you'll be able to pick up nuances that may have been overlooked by whomever is filtering the information to you. Expect to find answers. Don't simply go into a case or an inquiry with a closed mind. Along those same lines, pursue leads. Don't simply gather them, collect them up to make a thick file case or a file folder. Always write it down in today's lexicon that might be recorded in some digital medium so that you can find it or locate the information when it's needed. And then repeat successful practices. Maybe not verbatim or word for word or item for item, but there were several instances where you were successful or have been successful in the past that you could apply some of those successful practices to future cases. And then finally, educate yourself, constantly learn. Don't be satisfied with taking a course, reading a book, or undergoing a seminar. Single one-off bits of information are helpful, but they don't sustain. Here are some basic analytic reminders, and you'll see that one of them is repeated again. First off, remember that nothing happens in a vacuum. There's always a reason. Simply because it doesn't make sense to you doesn't mean it doesn't make sense at all. It certainly made sense to the perpetrator or those who are under inquiry when they committed that offense or incident. Remember Edmund Locard's theory of transference, which says that when 2 or more items come into contact, the longer, the stronger the contact, the greater the amount of transference. The transference may be slight and it may be robust, but there will be some sort of transference, whether that's evidence, information, or other types of substance. You'll always be able to find that whenever 2 or more items or entities come into contact. Third, don't overanalyze or overthink whatever the information is and look for things that aren't there. Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. That's a nod towards Sigmund Freud's theories. And then pay attention to details, because details are what convicts criminals. If you look back in history, you'll note that many of the major criminal events that have happened, to include the Oklahoma City bombing, to the Boston city bombing and other types of egregious incidents were solved by the small overlooked details. When they say the critical components were identified using those details. And then finally, try to do the impossible, which is avoid personal bias during your analysis. Personal opinions can cloud judgment and impact your direction and your influence with regard to your investigative inquiry. The last bit of information is that when you've eliminated all which is impossible, then whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. This is a quote from Sherlock Holmes by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, but it's proven to be more true more often than not. If you found this information useful or valuable, feel free to learn more by scanning the QR code. And of course, leave a favorable review or your comments down below. Hey, thanks a lot, and I'll see you online.